My name is Amelia Foster, and the day I learned why silence is not love was the day I stood in my Brisbane kitchen, my hands trembling as I read a text from my father. Don't bring your drama to the family barbecue, Amelia. Just be quiet and move on. For years, I kept silent about my stepmother Karen's cruelty, her snide remarks, her manipulation, her campaign to erase me from my own family, all to keep the peace, to hold on to their love. But that sweltering January morning, as I stared at the message, I realized my silence wasn't love, it was surrender. Karen had spent a decade tearing me down, and my family's silence had let her. That day, I decided to break that silence, not just for me, but for everyone she'd hurt. And when I exposed her at the barbecue, in front of the family she'd charmed, I didn't just reclaim my voice, I reclaimed my place. I grew up in a sunny Brisbane suburb, the only child of my dad and my late mum, who died when I was 8. Mum was warmth itself, laughing, baking, reading me stories. When she got sick, Dad tried to hold us together, but after she passed, he was a shadow of himself. I was a quiet kid, burying my grief in books, trying to be good, so I wouldn't burden him. When I was 12, he met Karen, a nurse at his hospital. She was all smiles at first, bringing me cookies, calling me sweetie. I wanted to love her, to fill the hole Mum left. Dad married her a year later, and for a while it felt like we could be a family again. But Karen's warmth was a mask. By the time I was 14, her comments started, small, sharp, like paper cuts. "You're so clumsy, Amelia," she'd say when I spilled juice, her smile tight. "Your mum must have been better at teaching you manners." She'd rearrange my room without asking, donate my clothes, call it helping. Dad never noticed. He was too busy working, too grateful for Karen's stability. I tried to tell him once, my voice shaking. "Karen's mean when you're not around." He frowned, said, "She's doing her best. Don't make trouble." So I stopped talking. I thought silence was love, that keeping quiet would keep him happy. By high school, Karen's cruelty sharpened. She'd criticize my grades, my clothes, my friends. "You're not very feminine, are you?" she'd say, eyeing my jeans and ponytail. She'd forget to tell me about family dinners, then act surprised when I showed up. "Oh, Amelia, I thought you were busy," she'd say, her voice dripping with pity. My cousins noticed, but they didn't speak up. Karen was too good at playing the perfect stepmom in public, baking for school events, charming my aunts. I felt like a ghost in my own family, seen only when I was useful. When I moved out at 19 for uni, studying literature, I thought distance would help. I got a part-time job at a bookstore, rented a tiny flat, built a life I loved. But Karen's reach followed me. She'd call, asking for favors, money for family expenses, help with her side hustle selling skincare. I'd send £50 here, £100 there, thinking it would keep the peace. Dad would thank me, say, "Karen's right, you're so generous." But the requests never stopped. By last year, I'd given her over £3,000, my savings drained, my dreams of a master's degree slipping away. I tried talking to Dad again, last Christmas, when Karen borrowed £500 for Christmas gifts, that never materialized. "She's using me, Dad," I said, my voice low so she wouldn't hear. He sighed, rubbed his temples. "Amelia, don't start. Karen's family. We stick together." His words hit like a slap. I wasn't starting anything. I was begging to be seen. But his silence, his refusal to question her, told me where I stood. The barbecue text was the final straw. It was a family tradition held every January at Dad's house. Relatives, neighbors, Karen's church friends, all gathered for burgers and beers. I'd always gone, smiled, played the dutiful daughter. But this time, Karen had crossed a line. A week earlier, she'd called, asking for £1,000 for a medical bill. I said no. My first time ever. She laughed cold. "You're so selfish, Amelia. Your dad deserves better." Then came his text siding with her, telling me to stay silent. I stood in my kitchen, the rain loud outside, and realized their love wasn't worth my silence. Karen had taken my money, my voice, my place. I was taking them back. I didn't confront her right away. Confronting Karen was like wrestling fog. She'd cry, deflect, make me the villain. Instead, I planned. I wanted her exposed, not in private, but at the barbecue, where her perfect image was brightest, where the truth would hurt most. I wanted my family to see her, not as the saint she played, but as the manipulator she was. I started with evidence. I went through my bank statements, marking every transfer to Karen. Pound 3000 over 2 years, labeled family help or emergency. I saved her texts, her voicemails, her sugary requests. Amelia, sweetie, just £200 for the church fundraiser. You're so kind. I cross-referenced them with her social media. Photos of new handbags, spa days, a holiday in Cairns, all posted after my transfers. Each post was a lie, proof she'd used me to fund her facade. I recorded our calls, too. She'd ring asking for money, her voice sweet until I hesitated, then sharp. You owe us, Amelia, she said once, when I pushed back on a £300 request. We raised you. I kept my voice calm, said, I'll see what I can do, and let her talk. Another time she slipped. Your dad doesn't need your drama. Just pay up and be grateful. I saved every clip. Her words a noose she didn't know she was tying. The hardest part was pretending. At family dinners I smiled, nodded, let Karen hug me, her perfume choking me. I played the quiet daughter, the one who didn't make waves, because that's what kept her careless. She thought I'd never speak up, that I'd always fold. She was wrong. The barbecue was the perfect stage. Karen would be in her element, hosting, charming, playing the perfect wife and stepmom. Dad would be by her side, proud of his happy family. My aunts, uncles, cousins would be there, along with Karen's church friends, all ready to applaud her. I'd be there too, with a truth she couldn't charm away. I spent weeks preparing. I turned my evidence into a presentation. Screenshots, bank records, audio clips, a timeline of her manipulation. I called it the price of silence. I wanted to show my family what Karen had done, not just to me, but to the idea of family itself. I practiced my speech, keeping it calm but cutting, each word a step toward freedom. I burned the presentation onto a USB drive, tested it, made sure it was airtight. I also talked to my cousin Mia, who'd seen Karen's true face. Mia told me Karen had borrowed £200 from her, unpaid, and spread gossip about her at church. Another cousin, Ben, said Karen had criticized his job, calling it lowly behind his back. Their stories gave me strength, proof I wasn't alone. Do it, Mia said. She's been playing us all. The night before the barbecue, I sat in my flat, the USB drive on my table, picturing Karen's smile crumbling, Dad's face when he heard her voice. I wasn't afraid anymore. I was ready. The barbecue was loud and chaotic. Dad's backyard filled with smoke from the grill, laughter, clinking bottles. Karen was everywhere, serving salads, hugging guests, her floral dress perfect for the role of gracious host. She saw me, smiled, said, Amelia, so glad you came. Her voice was warm, but her eyes flicked over me, checking for cracks. I smiled back, said, wouldn't miss it. My USB in my purse. The party always had a moment for toasts, family updates, gratitude, Dad's chance to brag about his blended family. I'd asked to speak, claiming it was a surprise for Dad. When he called me up, Karen clapped, her smile wide, expecting something sweet. I stepped to the patio, where we'd set up a projector for a slideshow of old family photos. I plugged in the USB, my hands steady, and faced the crowd. Family is supposed to be love, I said, my voice clear over the chatter. But sometimes love is demanded, not given. Sometimes silence is the price. The crowd quieted, confused. Karen's smile froze. I clicked the remote, and the screen lit up. The price of silence. The first slide showed a bank transfer, £500 to Karen, labeled family help. For years I've been silent, I said, about how Karen used me, took my money, my voice, my place. I clicked again, a screenshot of her text. Amelia, sweetie, just £200 for the church. Then her Karen's holiday post, the dates matching. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Karen stepped forward, her face pale. Amelia, this is inappropriate, she said, her voice sharp. I didn't stop. I played an audio clip, her voice. You owe us, Amelia. Just pay up. The crowd went silent, aunts staring, uncles frowning. I showed more texts, more transfers, Mia's unpaid £200, Ben's story. Karen's built a life on lies, I said. She's taken from me from others and called it family. Dad stood, his face gray, hand on Karen's arm. She tried to speak, her voice shaking. This is a misunderstanding. Amelia's upset she's. No. I cut her off, looking at her. I'm not upset. I'm done. Silence isn't love. It's letting you hurt me. I ended with a photo of me and Mum, laughing when I was 6. I deserve better, I said. We all do. I unplugged the USB, left the screen glowing, and walked out, Karen's sobs fading behind me. I didn't stay for the fallout. I drove to my flat, the rain soft now, my heart light. My phone buzzed, cousins shocked and supportive, Mia saying, "You're my hero." Dad texted, "We need to talk, Amelia." I didn't know. I didn't reply. I wasn't ready. The barbecue changed everything. Karen's church friends distanced themselves, her reputation cracked. Mia and Ben spoke up, sharing their own stories, and the family group chat lit up with debates. Karen tried to spin it, posting a tearful Facebook update about family struggles, but the comments called her out. Pay Amelia back. Stop lying. Dad called, his voice heavy, apologizing, but I told him I needed time. He's trying, but it's on my terms now. I didn't get my £3,000 back, not yet. I filed a small claims case, more for the record than the money. Karen moved to her sister's, taking a break from Dad. I'm rebuilding, working extra shifts, saving for my master's, reading Mum's old poetry books. My flat feels like home again, filled with my own dreams. Silence isn't love, it's a chain. Karen thought she could keep me quiet, keep taking, because I loved my family. I showed her, and them, that love means speaking up, even when it hurts. I'm not silent anymore. I'm loud and I'm free. If you enjoyed this revenge story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment where you're watching from.